Welcome back to the Chili server. This is Beldragos playing the Sprout Pack, and I'm glad to see you guys. I've spent the last few days doing a lot of work, and I figure I'd take and show what I've done. When I say I've done a lot of work, I've done a lot of work. First, I finished the dining room. I have 16 chairs, a plate at each table setting. None of the plates are the same. I was able to put some juice, cake, cookies, even a cocktail. I don't remember what this is. Mana Martini. Put this back. Can't be drinking on the job. I took and set up the cross beams made out of spruce bark. You can get spruce bark by putting 4 spruce logs in a crafting table, and you get 4 spruce barks. And it's covered with the bark pattern on all 6 edges, so you don't have to worry about anything sticking out showing the center of the log. Really useful, especially if you don't want that oddball corner sticking out. I took and made face plates by using the riveted plate from the chisel and made it into slices using the chisel and bits. And I'm able to get 16 out of 1 block of iron. And then I had to take and, let me see if I can get up here. I had to take and put in a little edge piece to make it fit. I think it looks nice. That way it looks like there's some nice strong connections holding it all up. I did the same thing with the spruce planks, putting clapboards at the bottom and a double row at the top. Candles on the sides, chandelier in the middle from the rustic, and attach the candles to the side. It works with torches, but it looks better with candles, in my opinion. I have 2 sword stands, which I'm going to take and build another pair of dragon slayers. We'll take and do that in a little bit. I use the chisel and bits to make carpeted stairs to get up and down. And I use slate to make the roof. I was going to go with the boat, but I didn't like the way it would have looked hanging out and bending down like a prow. Would have covered up the blood altar. And I took and mapped out the bottom floor. This will be the kitchen. I haven't put anything in here yet. Stairs going downstairs. I'll show that to you in a minute. Here's where the stairwell heading upstairs. You see nothing's done up here at all, except I left a space for a balcony to overlook the main dining hall. I made a skylight to allow daylight to come in. This will be the entrance hall. I'm going to have to see if I can find I know there's couches in the custom NPC mod, but you cannot make them. So I'm going to try to see if I can find some in houses or something. This will be the entertainment room. I haven't finished the ceiling in this room yet. Again, that's chisel and bits edging. I had to make the side piece, the corner piece, and the reverse corner piece. Then I just laid it in the flat pieces with the pattern for the ceilings. I think it looks nice. I also use the chisel and bits to make a little window above the doors. It sits perfectly flush on both sides. I did that with all the internal doors to make them look more elegant. Out here on the porch, I wrapped the nether brick. I did the same thing with the panels. I wrapped the nether brick around the porch. Also the back porch and front porch of the work building. I used a slate roof on both. And the reason I did this because not only blocks that will generate any spawns are these three here, and these six, I think half a dozen over here. I did a little bit of a overhang just for appearance, but none of the other bricks or blocks has surfaces which generate light. I mean, generate mobs, except down here on the porch, which I've got it covered with these inverted lights. Two of them will work wonders. And over here, I set up photovoltaic cells. I'm slowly converting up to the vibrant ones. As an alternate power source, I have it's set up to go through a dimensional transceiver into a power storage down underneath the floor in the basement. I started moving all my stuff from the hidey hole that I was using. I've moved everything over to here and restored it so somebody else can use it as a safe haven. I got a little work area set up here, wireless chargers, so anything I'm carrying around that has a charge will power up while I'm walking around. I'm also using the grid power wireless to store the electricity. To transfer the electricity. Nothing over here has really changed, except I've got a ceiling. I moved my experience obelisk over in the workshop. Step out here before we go downstairs. I took and made a tree trunk, took and threw some jungle leaves on there to make some landscaping. Set up my waystone finally and my mailbox since this is going to be home. Excuse me. It's the time of year where I get hit by allergies. I got most of the chests cleaned out. These are full of dirt. I don't want to take and figure out where I'm going to take and put that yet. It's a lot of dirt there. Left over from when I did the terraforming up here. Down here I took and put chiseled stone as the flooring and covered the walls with regular stone bricks, and then I did the ceiling so it isn't with the raw stone. Took and moved my ender generator from the temporary base, put it in the system here so that I have all my capacitor banks set up so it keeps everything fully charged. And everything goes out through the wireless RF battery into those little units to power everything. I made some dark pressure plates, threw them in the painter with a piece of glass to make them invisible. I took and redressed the walls, half a block on the ceiling along with the spruce bark and the lights. New door here, I'll show you that in a little bit. Connected the hallway underneath the house. Set up the rooms in here as storage rooms. Nothing in the crates yet, but I'll take and use them. At the very least, it makes a good props. Here's where I keep all my wine. Right underneath the stairs. Again, this goes up to the kitchen here. We'll head back. Another thing that I did that took a lot of time, well, all this took a lot of time, is I took and dug the secondary hallway. The ramp that you walk up to get from the ground level into my base, right on the other side of this spruce bark is the obsidian and the flooring. Right here is the ramp. So I had to drop it down one block so I could do the ceiling. And I made a central storage. Took and moved a chaos node in here, because if I'm doing crafting in here, I'm gonna make sure stuff is charged. I went with a hybrid system. After doing some investigating, the modular storage will hold 300 stacks of items, whether a stack is a single item like with a sword or a stack of 16 or 64. It'll hold 300. There's 300 slots. That's more than a tier 7 for the warehouse from Ender.io, but less than the tier 8. The tier 8 warehouses are really expensive, and so this is a cheaper way to go. Behind here I have a grid of item conduits, and I had to use the remote access to allow the inventory panel to see what's in them. And as you can see, I have a lot of stuff that I saved up when I moved everything over. I haven't set up by number. I've got over 3,500 spruce wood. I guess it comes from making roads in middle of spruce forest. I got a reservoir set up, so I've got an endless water supply for the vat. I've been feeding it zombie heads and sugar to make the nutrient to run the inventory panel. I also have a power supply in here, although it's just using for charging. Other than that, the only thing that uses power is the vat, and I store it in the capacitor bank, and power is in the storage scanner up here, and the remote storage. 4 units is the only thing that uses power. Everything else runs without power. If I was using the warehouse, that would be a constant power drain. So I get more storage and less power drain at a cheaper cost. Also, by doing it this way, I have 2 ways of accessing storage. I can either here. Sorry about that. But where would I? The storage module from RF and the inventory panel remote. Inventory panel remote Allows me to access this without needing to be in this room. It will let me access my inventory, which includes crafting grid, and I can put stuff in, but it costs nutrient distillation whenever I open it up. I just got to right click on the tank to fill it up. Now in this unit up here, are 4 storage cards. Each one will hold 3 stacks. I have to get some power to that. But each one will hold 3 stacks. And with this, I'll be able to access it once I run some power up it. I accidentally broke a connection. I'll take and fix that off screen. But that'll allow me to carry around, for big projects, about 1,200 stacks of material. For example, when I decide that it's time to start working on the other side of the road with the buildings and everything, I can take and bring a massive supply of materials without needing to fill my inventory. And it really helps when moving stuff. Let me put this stuff back in. Here's the ice dragon and the flame dragon sword. Might as well make those as long as we have the ability right now. Let's see. Ice. Here's the ice sword. We got ice dragon blood and fire dragon blood in the system. Dragon bone sword. We gotta make that with 2 dragon bones and a wither bone. Let's need 1. And 2. Put in the return area. Send it back in. And it hasn't registered it yet. Just give it a minute. Excuse me. I had to take a drink. If I close it out and open it up, it'll probably register it now. There, I got an ice sword. This is a different one. Where's the other one? Here's the fire sword. Flame dragon, that's what it is. I gotta back out for a moment. Come on, I know it's in there. That's the one thing I don't like about this system. It can take a little bit of time for it to register when you drop stuff in. When you want to do the auto crafting, it's somewhere in the system bouncing around. Way too much to go looking for it. Should be at the end. This is my food. Should logically be the closest. Maybe I'll just make another one. It's in the crafting table, dude. Fire. Dragon blood. There. What are they gonna do it the hard way? Hey, it's a mass storage system. It's combining the only two in the game other than using multiple chests. So let's go back up and place the two swords in the stands. Excuse me. One and two. They're proper throne for a dragon slayer. Another player moved in not far from me. I'll take and show you where they did. If you go over to this end of my plot, stand on this tree. You can see the roof of their house through the trees over there. Looks like I'm going to have to send out some invaders to investigate this person. See whether or not I'm going to have to be a good neighbor or a bad neighbor. Oh, the Chili server recently updated the mod pack 2 days ago. Well, 3 now that it's past midnight. Sprout pack updated itself. Sprout pack was updated, and Mac updated the server this morning. Well, yesterday morning, since it's in past midnight. So we're running on the newest version. We ended up with some different versions of the animals. Here, let me swing back here. Caught them all in a golden lasso. Now we got New Zealand bucks or bunnies. Got a whole lot of different bunnies. Ugh, in my way. Jeez. The sheep now have names, and there's goats in here too. Yeah, back in along the back over there. Waiting to see what sort of new mobs are in the game. This is the area where I've been doing all my work with the chisel mods. The chisel and bits. Here's all the stairs. If you hold down the shift key, the blueprints for these show what they have, so you can search them by item instead of trying to read them and everything. Makes it a lot easier. The mirror allows you to, I use it on the stairs here. Yeah, I'll show you what I had to mirror the design to flip it between left and right, because this is the left and the right side of the block. I wanted to have the wood along the outside and the carpet set into the top of the stair, wrapping around the front. And then when I got up to this level, I just took and laid a layer of carpet on the top of the scaffolding. Made little notches in it so it fit the pattern and flowed better. Then carried up to the top, tucked a little bit of the sideboard along the edge of the stairs so everything flowed most excellently. Took and ran this into the side of the stair, but this side I had to take and make it into a beveled corner, and then left this open. It's the best transition I could think of without getting in the way. Move the shields from the temporary onto the wall here for decoration for now. I haven't figured out exactly where I'm going to put them. They really don't cover much on the wall when you put them into an item frame. Makes it look more like a playing card. But these are two shields that I found in chest while doing dungeon runs. I plan on using the chisel mod to get rid of these windows. I do not like the streaks. Plus, I'd like to put a layer of wood along the top to decorate it better. And I don't like the corners. I want to make it either angled or arched, kind of the way these are arched. But just on each corner. And then I want to put the clear mana glass in there, just so you don't have this visual clutter on all the windows. It's not like it's raining out. We don't need to see streaks on the windows. Move my record player in here. And that's pretty much what I've done the last couple days. Well, I think I'm going to sign off for the day. I took and moved my marker, my waypoint, right here, so I can find it better when I'm traveling. Next time we get together, I think we might be taking on some dragons. I want to take on a category 4 or 5 white dragon ice dragon and fire dragon, and hopefully get some eggs so we can see about raising some little dragons. I have found 2 eggs already. They're in the they're in my storage system. It should be. I know the dragon bones went in there. The egg should be in there too. As you can see, it works, but I question the reliability of it. The other option is to use, here, let me go down here. The where did I put it? Let's see, it's the storage scanner for dragon. Yep, right here, dragon egg. I got sapphire, and I have a bronze. I'm going to take and see about hatching those once I figure out how I'm and where I'm going to put my eyrie for the dragon's roost. I'm going to see if I can get a clutch of eggs all to hatch at once and see what we can do as far as training them. That's one of my long-term goals right now. Just want to have fun. It's been about half an hour. I think it's time to call this episode at halt. Next time, we'll see what we can do. Thank you very much. If you like this episode, hit the like button, subscribe. Gotta say that every time, you know. Put your comments in below. I want to hear from each and every one of you. I want your suggestions on what you think I should do. Especially any mods you want me to start investigating. We've pretty much caught up with the blood magic. Can't go any further because the mod hasn't been completely ported over, and we're waiting for this last bit for the last 6th tier. I mean, there's rituals that we can use, but it'd be silly to set up a ritual and not actually being able to use it. There's the ritual where you can summon lava, and I'm planning on using that when we get into Botania. My goal is to craft the flowers that eat lava and turn it into essence or mana, and I'll use the ritual to summon the lava, and so I don't have to worry about not having an endless supply. It worked on the other server really well. Ended up with more mana that I could hold in multiple pools. I just wish it was a way you could store that mana in tanks that I haven't heard of anyway yet. I'm gonna sign off. And like I said, I'll be looking for your suggestions down below. Have yourself a very good evening. Good night.